In color, the continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord.
Tonight, police are cruising in search of a man they know is capable of hurting young Rachel Wells. The man is Jack Chandler. Chandler is in hiding, having forced Lee Weber to put him up for a brief time. And here, away from police searchlights, he's able to work out a plot to pick up Rachel and take her with him. A phone call to the night school posing as Elliot Carson sets up the plan. In his mind, he's convinced that Rachel will turn to him and accept him once she's made to realize she cannot adapt to this town and to the people who have seemingly befriended her. Chandler's obsession with Rachel has long since blotted out any reason. He has no doubt at all that Rachel will go with him willingly, quietly. Chandler need only wait for the right moment to make his move. He is confident he'll have no trouble in avoiding the prowling police, who even now are cruising the waterfront area close by Lee Weber's house. At the same time, across town, high on the hill, Lee Weber's wife, Sandy, shows up as ordered at the home of Martin Peyton.
If you're looking for your husband, he's been dismissed for the night.
Mr. Peyton is waiting for you upstairs.
Surprise.
Come in.
Mrs. Weber to see you, sir.
Thank you, Mary, and good night. Mrs. Weber?
For a few more months.
It must be tiresome waiting for the final paper.
I haven't been bored.
Sit down, please.
I won't be staying that long.
Why have you come here?
Because I didn't have to.
But you were curious.
If you have a point, make it.
I can see why Rodney finds you interesting.
Oh, I knew you had a point.
You have a certain gutter courage that probably was quite fascinating while it lasted.
Do you read tea leaves, too?
Oh, Rodney isn't that complicated. As a matter of fact, he's rather conventional. Much too conventional for a girl like you.
Well, why don't we let Rod decide that?
Hasn't he?
I'll catch the rest of your act later.
What do you want from my grandson?
Oh, a smile and a kind word.
Indifference, neglect, disgust. No, Mrs. Weber. You deserve better than that. You'll find it.
Someplace else.
Rodney's like a little boy who's never been allowed to get dirty. So the moment his mother's back is turned, he plunges into the nearest mud hole. But now the novelty has worn thin. He wants to get back to the things he left. The things he's had all his life. But he can't find them on the wharf. Nor in the garage. Nor with you.
Did he put you up to this?
You've had your dance, Mrs. Weber. It's time for you to leave the party. For good. That's yours.
Services rendered?
For understanding my position.
Oh, I understand your position. A place for everything and everything in its place, including the pretty little valentine that your grandson played patty cake with.
Don't be too harsh on yourself.
You expect me to take that and shove it in my purse and go bowing out?
Bow out gracefully, Mrs. Weber, but bow out tonight.
You think that's what I've been waiting for ever since I started going with Rod, the payoff at the end of the rainbow? Well, I never asked him for a thing.
Then you're a fool. Nothing is free in life, especially love. That's all you're going to get out of your relationship with Rodney.
How much?
$2,000.
Is that all Rod's worth to you?
That's all you're worth to me. And don't haggle.
Okay. You think I'm a real waterfront type? Well, what does that make Rod? You just blew 2 G's, mister. If you want to clear the tracks for your precious grandson, you should be using this to grease Betty's way out of town.
You'll leave tonight.
She's the one that's going to foul up your plans.
If you don't leave, the police will be notified that you stole that money.
Do you hear me? She's still got it for Rod. She's not going to let him off the hook, and I don't think he wants off.
I want you out of this town tonight.
Sweat, old man!
Rod?
Hello, Doctor.
Listen, it's been missing a little bit. You want to take a look at it for me?
Yeah, pop the hood for me, okay?
How you doing?
Okay.
Look, but last night, I don't want you to get the wrong impression.
I think you're in my light. If you just... Yeah.
I don't want to give you the wrong impression, you know.
Well, the impression that I got was that wherever Rachel is, Dr. Rossi can't be far behind.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. It's not the impression I wanted to give.
Well, it may not have been the impression you wanted to give, but it is the truth, isn't it?
Well, the truth is that, well, I feel kind of responsible for her. You see, I got her into the Carson house. I got Elliot to give her a job, and, well, now that the police can't find Chandler, I feel someone ought to look out for her.
So reluctantly you take up mass
Well,
skin cape.
Look, I'd like to be serious about this and explain it to you.
I don't think it needs explaining.
Well, I think it does.
It's not the carburetors.
Maybe,
No, if you go over here, the light.
See, you were a little late at the school, and if I hadn't been there and Chandler had...
I was approximately 1 minute late.
Well, you don't seem to understand the danger this girl is in.
Look, if you want to pick her up, pick her up. It's out of my way anyhow.
Well, no, I don't mind you picking her up. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I mean, if you could get there on time, I think it looks... I mean, the two of you together looks right.
Well, then how come every time I try to see her, I run into you?
Look, Rod, I want to impress upon you the danger that this girl is involved in. I mean, I think that somebody ought to be with her at all times, at least know where she is.
I don't know what's wrong with your car.
Oh, well, I'll take it to the dealer in White River.
Good idea.
A question for you.
What happens after they lock up Chandler?
What do you mean?
Are we going to continue to run into each other?
Look, are you deliberately misunderstanding me, or didn't I make myself clear?
Oh, you made yourself clear. You made yourself crystal clear. You kept Rachel locked in the hospital when you knew there wasn't anything wrong with her.
But wait a minute, Chandler was...
Oh, yeah, I know, lurking. Then you bought her that puppy, no doubt hoping it might grow into a watchdog.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
And the one and only date I have with Rachel, you cross-examined me. Why? Do you think I'm in cahoots with Chandler or something?
No, of course not.
You know, Doctor, you're beginning to act like my major competition with Rachel. And you're pretty stiff competition. I think they want you at the hospital.
Yes.
Norman Harrington's here to see you.
Hello, Norman.
Hi. Sit down. Did you call me at the library for something special or just for kicks? I have a whole year of geology to catch up on.
How about a cup of coffee? Bring Norman a cup of coffee.
Yes, sir.
Black.
Black.
You know, you're a nice guy, Stephen. At the student union, it costs. What do you want to talk about? Thank you, my dear.
Norman. Your grandfather, our grandfather, has written a new will. I think you ought to know about it.
Well, this is going to be duller in geology class.
I don't think so.
Okay, you want to place a small wager on it? Say, 2 bits?
2 bits. My wife is named principal beneficiary.
You lose.
I think you're the one who really loses.
How do you figure?
Under the new will, you get virtually nothing.
Oh, well, you see, Grandfather and I have this agreement where I don't have to like him, I don't have to live with him, I don't have to go to his parties, and he doesn't have to give me money.
You don't need the money, then.
Well, we won't talk about needing things.
I think we'd better. How's Rita?
Don't do it, Stephen.
Someone has got to make you come to your senses.
And you picked yourself.
Well, your father and your brother don't seem to be able to.
Well, you've always enjoyed picking on people.
Now, Norman, stop thinking about yourself for 1/2 a minute. Your wife is not well. I understand it's not something simple like a cold. It's something that takes constant medical attention, maybe months, maybe years. Very expensive attention.
Well, I'll pay for it. It'll take a while, but I'll pay for it.
Well, wouldn't it be easier to have some of your family's money? I mean, your mother would have liked you to have had some of your own inheritance.
Wait a minute. You lost me. First you say I'm not getting a penny, and then you say I should be getting a fortune. What are you talking about?
Well, I have reason to believe that our grandfather is losing his grip. You see, his will is cruel and senseless. It hurts you. It hurts me. Under the will, Betty won't inherit a thing unless she is married to Rodney.
Does Rod know?
Yes.
What'd he say?
What could he say? He couldn't believe it.
What do you want to do?
You see, because the will is cruel and senseless. Because he's forgetting more and more important matters every day. Because of the difficulty of the mill problems being taken care of under his direction, his irrational direction, and because of a number of reasons. Well, I may be forced to.
You're not going to have him committed on him.
Oh, no, of course not. Yes?
Mrs. Cord's here to see you when you're free.
Well, I have to go anyway. You know, with all that talk, you kind of threw me.
Norman, just think about him. Think about that old man. And that's all I want you to do, for the moment at least.
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Norman.
Say, Stephen, you know, a chapter in geology takes about an hour. You only took 4 minutes. And 30 seconds.
What was that all about?
Come on in here. He is with us.
Stephen, you're not going to use Norman.
Oh, yes, I am. He doesn't know it yet. I couldn't quite spell it out for him. But I'm going to use everybody I can get. I'm going to divide this town into people on his side and people on my side. And then I'm going to start the war.
But it's so heartless.
Heartless? I'm prepared to do battle with a man who lifted his grandson out of the crib at birth and gave him away.
Do unto others as they have done unto you.
You want me to give you a divorce? Because Peyton won't stop until I do. Or until I make him stop.
Stephen.
Betty, whose side are you on, anyway?